Hi, welcome to Film Fiend. My name is Seb, and today I'm reviewing Jarhead. So this is my Blu-ray copy of Jarhead. There are many like it, but this one is mine. So Jarhead is directed by Sam Mendes, written by William Broyles Jr., and is based on the book by Anthony Swofford. I love this film. It's awesome. I've watched it loads of times over the years, and it never fails to impress and entertain me. At its heart, it's an anti-war film that provides a peek behind the curtain into the futility of modern warfare, the reality of the experience for the troops, and the psychological toll that military conditioning takes on those unfortunate young men. But these themes are explored in a way that is simultaneously entertaining, moving, and funny, and thanks to Roger Deakins' amazing cinematography, it's also visually stunning and features some fantastic music choices. One of the things this film does so well is that it subtly presents the ways in which these young men are basically groomed into this lifestyle. It shows how camaraderie is used as a tool of control, and how this newfound brotherhood is used as a psychological manipulation technique on those who are lost, directionless, and impressionable. All in order to make them feel connected to each other and find an ostensible sense of purpose so that they willingly do the bidding of the elusive elites that are pulling the strings behind the scenes. This film pulls a really clever trick on the audience because you as the viewer are sucked into this world of camaraderie with the characters, duped into a false sense of connection and community with these men, even though at the back of your mind you are aware that it's all a smokescreen, a realization that only some of the characters become cognizant of. And it does all this in a way that is so entertaining and energetic that you lose sight of the bigger picture, just like the soldiers do. Any time that the larger reality of the war is brought up, it's immediately quashed as if it's secondary to the experience of brotherhood and combat. The troops are regarded as mere individual cogs in the machine of war, their individualities ancillary to the military apparatus, and any attempt to elucidate political intentions is dismissed as incidental. The line, "fuck politics, we're here, all the rest is bullshit," epitomises the attitude that is instilled in them throughout their training. They're even conditioned to identify as jarheads, empty vessels to be shaped and moulded however the elite see fit. Jamie Foxx's Staff Sergeant Sykes is emblematic of this type of conditioning, as he proudly purports to love his job, and when he gives his reasons, they're almost understandable. This is how clever the screenplay is. On a technical level, this film is outstanding. The cinematography is impeccable, bringing a haunting beauty to the landscapes, and the oil field sequence in particular has some very memorable shots. The music choices are fantastic and serve only to supplement the themes, and the editing is used at times in a repetitive manner to show the relentless conditioning of the troops. Some shots reiterate during the training sequences as a way of showing the characters being slowly transformed into subordinate robots, although we also see how this ultimately fails when it goes against their natural instincts. There's no metaphors here. The reality of modern warfare and military training is just presented as is, and it's all based on one soldier's first-hand experience. Although there are definite parallels between the opening scene and Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, this film definitely carves out its own identity with its memorable needle drops and stunning visuals. And in the end, it's actually quite moving knowing how futile the whole endeavour has been for these young men, but how much it's affected them regardless of how removed they were from the true horrors of boots on the ground combat. And the scene on the bus at the end shows this well when they come into contact with a veteran, an illuminating moment for them as they realise their cursory experience of warfare was probably for the best. There's just so much to admire here, from the intelligent script to the breathtaking cinematography and brilliant performances, and it's totally gripping and riveting throughout despite the lack of overt action. Some viewers could feel let down, especially those who expect a gratuitous war film that revels in the horrors of war, but that's the point. This film does not sensationalise, quite the opposite, and I think it shows a cross-section of what is probably the typical experience for most modern soldiers. I really like that it doesn't punch down, it doesn't point the finger at the soldiers, it just presents the reality of their lives for the audience to experience. And maybe for some it's not a caustic or scathing enough indictment of war as they'd like, but that's not the aim of this film. This is an anti-war drama exploring expectation versus reality based on a sample of one soldier's first-hand experience of the futility of this particular war, and it manages to explore its themes whilst being simultaneously edifying terrifying and entertaining. I can't believe that it's over 20 years old. It looks like it was shot in the 2020s. It more than holds up and is an amazing film all round. So that was my review of Jarhead. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.